Hello, Dagon. Can you hear me? It has been a very long time since I've done a live. I have no idea. Excuse me. Oh, perfect. I'm still trying to get used to this stuff. It has been a long time. That's for sure. Thank you, Michelle. I'm glad E can hear me. Okay. Give me a minute. Wow, this is really strange. I haven't done this in so long. Can you hear my furnace in the background? All right. Peekaboo. This is as good as it gets. Today's my birthday. Yay me. Um, I was born in 1962. What does ambient noise mean? Let me check something. Uh, yeah, I let my hair grow. What do you mean by ambient noise? Oh, it's on your end. Okay. Because I was playing with so much stuff here. I think I have music, but I don't know. Let me go back to yeah, I decided after the 2020 fiasco was finally over with, I just let my hair grow again. It took about a year to get this long. So, year and a half maybe. All right. Still adjusting. Please be patient. I prefer silence at night as well. Uh, so you're talking about white noise. You always have some type of white noise going on during the day when you're up and about. Ah, so we're both the same age, but I'm 62 and 62. I just realized that the other day. There was something else I was. Oh, nice. Hey, I usually have something going on, whether it's my music or I'm listening to something on the phone. I always have, oop, I don't want this in my ear. I always have something in my ear listening to stuff. At night, I actually do have something on at night. I have my fan on all the time, and that's a low hum. Looks to me like it's just going to be us. That'll be just fine by me. Have either one of you heard of how 420 originated or where that came from? I've never even heard about quote 420 until probably the late 90s. And so I decided I was going to look it up. And this was from Time Life magazine. Yeah, it was college people getting stoned after class. Yeah. I noticed something new with StreamYard. I always pop out the chat on YouTube because there was always a delay. Um, but I'm watching both StreamYard and the YouTube chat, and they're popping up at the same time. So StreamYard must have resolved that 2 or 3 second delay in their chat. That's nice. So now this is the most credible story that they had concerning this. Um, in Marin County, California, in 1971, 5 students at San Rafael High School would meet at 4:20 p.m. by the campus's statue of chemist Louis Pasteur to partake. They chose that specific time because extracurricular activities had usually ended by then. This group, Steve Capper, Dave Reddix, Jeffrey Noel, Larry Schwartz, and Mark Gravich, became known as the Waldos because they met at a wall. They would say 420 to each other as a code for marijuana. Dave Reddix told Time in 2017, "We got tired of the Friday night football scene with all of the jocks." I can understand that. "We were the guys sitting under the stands smoking a doobie, wondering what we were doing there." So the shenanigans continued long after 4:20 p.m. The group challenged each other to find even more interesting things to do under the influence, calling their adventures safaris. Later, Reddix's brother helped him get work with Grateful Dead bassist Phil Lesh as a roadie. So the band is said to have helped popularize the term 420. On December 28th, 1990, a group of deadheads in Oakland handed out flyers that invited people to smoke 420 on April 20th at 4:20 p.m. One ended up with Steve Bloom, a former reporter, an authority on the cannabis culture. The magazine printed the flyer in 1991, continued to reference the number. Soon it became known worldwide as a code for marijuana. So it goes on to say a bunch of other stuff, but the reality is, I mean, people tried to say it was a code for officers, for police, that, there was people smoking weed, um, or Bob Dylan's song "Rainy Day Women," because number 12 and 35, you multiply that and it equals 420. But that stuff really never took off. So I thought that was quite interesting. I just looked that up the other day. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, okay. So that was quite the bit of information for me. I had no idea where that came from. The 420 thing. Yeah, the late 90s. What would you say here? Yeah, I was a stoner growing up. Oh, dispensaries. You're right. I just find it quite strange how something like that can just start taking off. Um, for me, it was the 80s where I was never a day that I wasn't stoned, 80s and 90s. Well, no, 80s. I kind of I kind of had to grow up when I got pregnant in the late 80s. But yeah, but the other thing that I was looking up just for sheer curiosity, famous people born on this day. The most infamous would be Adolf Hitler, which I don't consider him a famous person, but historically he is. Uh, got George Takei Sulu from Star Trek. I didn't know that. Carmen Electra. Didn't know that. Hey, Blake, how are ya? Andy Serkis. Crispin Glover. Jessica Lange. I had no idea these people had the same birthday as I did. Anyway, so that's that. But yeah, um, I haven't been doing much of anything on YouTube here for about a year, obviously. It was more of getting my life back into, a more normal thank you, Blake, a more normalcy after the 2020, 2021. What a fiasco all that was. Um, YouTube was probably a lifesaver for me and many others. Um, prior to 2020, I would have never been on camera. I would have never be talking to people like this. Um, so that's what got me through 2020, 2021. And then I kind of gravitated away from it because life was becoming more normal again. And then I started the woodworking deal. I started out with no scroll saw. I had a jigsaw, table saw, bandsaw, routers, those type of tools. And I started playing with it, and I did a couple of Buffalo Bills logos with the router, painted them, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. So I was using the bandsaw. Hang on. And I made this with my bandsaw. And because it was such a no, not the bandsaw, my jigsaw. And because it was such a tedious chore to use a jigsaw for this, I knew though that when I did that, I want to make stuff like that. So then I was looking at my coping saw, which is the handheld version of a scroll saw. Um, and doing it by hand, I tried that. Yeah, no, that's not happening. I'm too old for that. And then I realized the scroll saw was the way to go. Now, I had never really heard of it, maybe once or twice in my experiences. So I had no knowledge of a scroll saw. So I started watching a bunch of videos. And the more videos I watched, the more I realized, well, um, I can do that. That looks simple enough, right? And so I got a cheap $20 one, and then I bought a $30 one. And the only reason I bought the exact same scroll saw is because it came with blades. The second one did. And blades were expensive. So I figured, well, the $30, I'll get a saw and more blades. Well, those saws are not designed for the artistic scroll sawing that I wanted to do. You can make it work, but by design, they're more for machine shop, just hardcore, rough cutting, not fine cutting. That's my opinion. You can make it work, of course. So then I started looking at the more expensive scroll saws and started looking at all the different videos about that. So I settled on the Excalibur EX21. Um, and that was fine. I got it for half the price of a brand new one. It was used. And the first few things that I cut, I wasn't doing the videos yet. I was very, what is it, disenchanted because all the videos I watched, they all make it look simple enough, but they didn't really show the reality of, and I'm not knocking it, by the way. Great channels, great videos, great works of art that they're creating with their saws. But when they say it's an easy project, they don't really show you what you're up against. It's like all you have to do is this and this. Well, that's all I did was this and this, and that's not how it works. So I said, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to start documenting it. What the reality of what you're up against as a brand new scroll sawyer, they call them. So that's what I did. I started doing a video once a week, just sharing the oopses and sharing the scratching my heads and all that. As I got further along, well, wait, before I go there, as I was editing these videos, I saw things that I was doing wrong that I didn't notice as I was actually cutting. So it was like being outside of myself watching me work, and I'm going, oh. So I learned a few things that way. But as I got further along in practicing and just struggling and beating my head against a wall, um, I started understanding more of what the people were saying in all the videos. A lot of what they were saying and how easy things were made more sense. Hi, Leon's Woodworking. How are ya? So, which made me inspired me even more to keep going with my videos. Just this is what it is. This is what happens. You know, they made it look like if you get this piece of wood and you use this saw and you do this, everything's going to go just great. It didn't go just great. Not for me. But what I realized though, the biggest thing is every single piece of wood's different. I don't care what you say. I can cut 5 slices off the exact same piece of stock, and each slice is gonna cut differently because the grain, as you move along the board, is different. There's always something a little bit different about it. So, that I had to get into my head. Now, all the suggestions about blades, well, there's a nice little chart. If it's this thick and if it's a pine or a hardwood softwood, you want to use this blade for this thickness and that blade for that thickness. No, no, that's just not happening. Um, Tried that. Then I decided I needed to just use a blade that feels right and cuts well. And 9 times out of 10, that chart was wrong. Not knocking it. It's a guide. Everything's just a guideline or guide to help you along, but the reality is you have to figure it out yourself. And the most important thing that I found was it's a feel. Everything you do with that saw goes by feel. I had to get out of my head. I was so busy concentrating on all the things I learned, and do I have the right blade? Is this software? I was just like in my head that I really wasn't allowing myself to just go with the flow of the wood, go with the flow of what I was cutting and not force it. The one thing I had a hard time with is hardwood. You can be very firm, holding on firm and turning aggressively because it's hardwood. And then I went to a piece of pine and I just skated right off the lines. It was hilarious. I was laughing at myself, going, "Oh, we have to be a little gentler with the softwood, Amy. You don't have to be so aggressive holding it down." But yeah, that's kind of how this all happened. I'm blessed. I'm making sales. I'm not trying to do so. I want to keep this as a hobby because I absolutely enjoy what I'm doing. Um, And I can just take it or leave it. If somebody wants me to make something and I don't wanna do it, I'll just decline the order. I mean, that's really the bottom line. I don't have to do anything. And I'm not being rude or, uncaring. I do wanna make things for people, and I do want them to enjoy it. I just don't want it to become a job. I wanna make sure I stay liking this because it really puts me in a very calm, meditative state, so to speak. Now, my friend Blake, New Vision Group LLC. He um, he has a variety of things on his channel: lawn care, um, daily word, etc. And he suggested, which I was going to do a poll for this, but I'm not sure I want to do that. He suggested to do a live stream, live cutting, um, and I'm going to give that some thought. Uh, Being nice out, the weather's getting much nicer. If I do that, I'm taking my saw outside. I don't want, um, what don't I want? I don't wanna have to use the shop vac. I don't wanna have to, deal with my mask. The one thing I realize, I wear a respirator mask because the dust from the scroll saw is so fine. The first couple of times I used it without a mask, my lungs hurt. I smoke, and my lungs hurt. I couldn't believe it. I'm going, "Oh, we can't be doing that." But if I'm outside and the wind's just right, everything will blow away from me, and it'll be beautiful out. You'll hear birds a chirping while my saws are running, but I don't want the shop vac running because it's loud. So I'm still giving that some thought. Um, what else y'all got going on today? It's a beautiful Saturday, I think. It was almost snowing earlier. It was a little bit, like a slushy rain. I went outside to empty the chicken's water bucket, and I was shocked because I hadn't been out yet this morning. I was kinda shocked when I saw that it was almost snowing out. I'm like, "Come on, for real?" But, yeah. Well, the only thing about doing the live streams, though, is, I don't wanna have to use my phone, because I also wanna be able to see the chat easier and use my, webcam. It's got a 6-foot cord off the computer where I can place it exactly where I want it to be for the scroll saw. Right now, I use my phone for the scroll saw videos, but excuse me, that is a it's an old phone, and I don't mind because it's indoors, and I'm not talking to anybody. So tell me, what do you got going today, guys? I can't be the only one sitting here jibber jabbering for however long I've already been on. Well, I could, but what are your hobbies, Dagon Hills? I know what you do for your videos. Do you have any hobbies on the side? Thank you very much, Leon. Appreciate it. I appreciate you stopping in. Thank you very much. So, did you only have the 1 yard today, Blake, or did you end up doing more? Type away, my friend. Type away. Just the one. Okay. I was going to ask you about that, but I forgot. Um, yeah. Leon's woodworking. Oh, okay. So I had two roosters I wanted to rehome. I hatched them out, hoping for hens. As luck would have it, I did not get them. Oh, I know all about that, Dagon. So what I did was I put a post on Facebook. Um, Two roosters available. No questions asked if you want to call them. They want to put them in the freezer. And in DM only, and I turned off comments. I've noticed on Facebook, anybody that's offering livestock of any kind have bleeding hearts. Every animal on the face of the earth should be their number one pet. And I should have a lot more love in my heart and consideration for the life of the animal. Um, I don't know if all those people are vegans, but if you eat meat, you can't have that attitude with livestock. You have to understand that they're being brought up for a reason. But as it happens, I I had one person was interested. Turns out it's an older gentleman, not older, but older than me, not by a lot. Hmm. Um, and he also is a woodworker. Lives 5 miles away. Who would have thought? Would have never met him otherwise, I don't think. And so, we have a lot in common. He's got some access to some wood I can repurpose. Uh, he can't give it away, and so I raised my hand. I'll take it because I can make just about anything happen with wood. So I'm working on that, and you know, I'm pretty excited about meeting people more in person as well. So, okay, I'm going to go back to Dagon's writing songs. When you write songs, because I wrote a lot of poetry over the years, does stuff just come to you and you have to write it down when it comes to you? It's like all of a sudden this whatever pops into your head, and you do songs, I do poetry. It's a little bit different versus songwriting, but I don't think the way it comes to people is all that different. I'd be just curious to know. Oh, I'm already getting antsy from sitting here. So the roosters have a good home, by the way. He had no intentions of putting them in his freezer. The next day, uh, because we talked a little bit about wood and woodworking, the next day I texted him about something to go do with the wood, and he texts back. He goes, "The alarms work great. Hi, Wichita. Thank you for coming in, and I appreciate the birthday wish." Uh, so yeah, he actually just wanted the roosters because he likes the sound of roosters. Okay, that makes sense. I'm finding that with what I'm doing with the woodworking and I'm seeing these different patterns, I have a different vision in my head of what I want it to be. So, Steve Good has a lot of patterns. I just came across Dan Wilkins. They have a website, Wilkins Woodworking or something. Don't quote me. I just came across them. Um, and I just did one of their free patterns from the Wilkins website, and it has a base, and I didn't do the base yet because I already have an idea to do something else with the main piece that I cut. Go figure. But I think that's why I chose for like my Instagram woodworking originals, because I know that at first I'm going to be using other people's patterns, but I do have a lot of ideas in my own head that by doing all those patterns, I'm going to learn how to make things on my own. I just have a lot of creativity. I really appreciate you coming in. Yeah, I know. I'm going to tell you something, Dagon. When I used to write that poetry, and that was at a time in my life that I was going through a lot, but it came to me. If I didn't write it down, it was gone. I mean, gone. Whether it was a napkin, a piece of paper. So I learned to always at least have a pen on me. And yes, it came out of nowhere. Uh, I haven't looked at a lot of those poems in a long time. All that writing of that type of poetry, it's not a type of poetry, but writing poetry got me through a lot. Um, I'm much more content and at peace with all that is these days that I don't have a need. The words don't come. So, but before writing poetry, I used to draw. And the reason I would draw is because I never wanted to put into words what I was feeling, and I could put it into my artwork and nobody would know. And then the poetry came. And now the woodworking's coming. And I think a lot of it has to do is, with I put a lot of love in what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know if it shows or not. It don't matter. I put a lot into it, and I'm really enjoying the outcome. Yeah. so you don't forget what the idea was when you write that line or two, and then you can revisit it, and it'll take you right back to where you were at when you were thinking of it. Um, I really enjoyed the last premiere. It was very thought provoking that you had, Dagon. It was very thought provoking, that book or short story. I'm not sure what it was. Um, I was very confused at first, and then I had to go back and watch it again so that once I caught up and got out of my own head and started really listening, that was good. That was an excellent, excellent read. Well, two lines better than no lines. My friend Michelle is quite sick today. Send out some good mojo for her. She has, I don't know what she has, but she's sick. Some type of bug that's going around. She has children that are in school, so that that's just the way that's the reality of having young children in school. My nephew and my great nieces. My nephew was, I was supposed to use his car for some reason, and he got super sick. I mean, the man was sick. He goes, "Oh, I'll bring you the car anyway." I'm like, "Oh, dude, I want no part of that car. You go ahead and stay home, take care of yourself. I'm good." Oh, hello, Masha. How are you? Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, so I try to keep myself away from people that are sick because um, I'm not out in that public world anymore. You know, I'm out in public, don't get me wrong, but the young kids going to school, they're being exposed to everything and anything. I see my, great nieces once in a while, not all the time. So I'm not getting that natural immunity to a lot of what they have and a lot of the new stuff that comes out. So, and I knew when my nephew got sick that I needed to stay away from the girls as well for a while and to make sure that they didn't get what he had. He was really sick. I don't miss those days when my boy was young and came home with everything that we all got. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. Uh, so yeah, the woodworking thing has just been a blessing. Like I said, the 2020 fiasco, that was a good 2 solid years of disruption of a lifestyles. Everybody's, not just mine. Um, yeah, I've heard that this flu is that's going around is pretty bad. But that it was such a disruption for so many people that I spent this last year and a half, 2021, 2020, 2021. I dabbled in YouTube 2022, and then I wiped out my entire channel and started fresh with this. Some of the old stuff is still there, but not the content that Dagon is familiar with. I do still have that content on a different channel. I moved it over. Hi, Lynn. Welcome to the chat. How are you? Thank you for the happy birthday. Um, so I moved all the old content to a different channel. Not all of it, actually. I had like 300 and 400 videos. And when I started the woodworking, It was I had to move all of it out of this channel. Meditation stuff. I was very into personal growth and stuff like that. Thank you. I know it's okay to adapt and change, but I think people are afraid to adapt and change. They run the they're I was scared to death to start scroll sawing. Like, I don't want to spend $500 to $1,000 on a saw and I find I don't like it, right? I mean, that's fear. So I was able to work around it until I invested that money into the actual saw. But people don't want to change. It's uncomfortable. It's the fear of the unknown. What happens if? Well, you're never going to know. And, if you don't try something, it's guaranteed failure because you never tried it. But if you try it and fail, at least you know for sure 100% that's not your path. Um, I grew up that way. I was brought up that way. Always be afraid. Are you sure you know what you're doing? What? I mean, I'm looking back on that going, what were they thinking saying that to me? Instead of encouraging me to give it a try. I told you that was going to happen. Of course, I failed all the time, right? Because I already had the preset pre right mindset that I was going to fail because they told me I was. And I'm not knocking, I'm not bashing. It's just a lifestyle that the environment I grew up in is the same environment they grew up in. So it was a generation to generation of that's how you bring up your kids. And instead of encouraging and letting them try things, and I don't mean let them try touching the stove and see how long they can hold their hand there. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. The kind of guidance where, my son used to insist, "Oh, come on, mom, it's not fine. I told you it'll work." So I'd let him try it. He's not going to get hurt. I'm not going to get hurt. There you go. Um, they don't want to leave their comfort zone. That's right, Masha. They don't want to leave their comfort zone. I'm done being comfortable. I'm done being told uh, everything I was told. I just no. It's not gonna work. That's all I ever heard. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. I laugh at it now. Uh, oh, tiny houses. Don't get me started on that. I have a travel trailer on my property, and I want to level it to the actual bed of the trailer. It's a 34-foot long travel trailer. It's a nice travel trailer, and it's okay, but it's I can't live in it year round here. And I just want to level it right to the trailer itself and build a tiny house on it. And because it's 34 foot, I only used 17 foot of the house, the trailer that I have. I don't use the other half but for storage. So I don't need all that space. I want the other half to be a greenhouse. So, I mean, I'm ambitious. I got ambitious ideas, but we'll see how that works. I might just get rid of the trailer altogether and just buy a flatbed and start with that. Um, but oh yeah, the tiny house thing, that's definitely a path I want to take. Oh, you're killing me. Oh, okay. Dagon, we're not talking that tiny. I don't need a lot. In the home I have now, I only utilize 2 rooms. Well, two and a half. Kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Oh, it's Tercel. It's a nice car, though. That's a Toyota, right? The Toyota Tercel? And if I were to show you, which I'm not gonna show you, but if I were to show you what my living room looked like, it's not an entertainment room. Uh, but I'll tell you, I have one lazy boy chair, which was a complete sectional at one point. I have a shelf with all my power tools on it. In the center, I have stacks of wood to keep the moisture content low so I can work with them. Uh, to my left, way down yonder, I have my after cutting area, my Dremel, minimal sanding. Um, it's where I put the patterns on the wood. I drill the holes for the saw blades to go through, stuff like that. So my complete living room is a workshop. Um, when I first started the woodworking, my living room had my saws in it. It had everything in it. Um, because the shop that I have had wasn't ready to be a shop. Um, where was I going with that thought? So 2 winters ago, I was actually doing the woodworking right in my living room. That was not the smartest idea. It took a full year to get rid of all the sawdust and fine dust out of my house, but I didn't care. I live alone. It's my house. I didn't care. Um, so I finally got the shop area organized in such a way that I could actually use it as a shop and keep all the major mess out there. Yeah, you'd probably flip a lid if you came into my house, but I don't care. Uh, I Dagon every vehicle, every Toyota I ever had, I never had a problem with it. I swear by Toyotas, and not the newer ones so much as the older ones. The last one I had was a '93 Toyota pickup truck. Uh, I had to sell it because that was during the 2020 fiasco, and I couldn't afford to do the work that needed to be done on it, so it sat. And I wanted to sell it before it became useless from sitting too long. Uh, I got it in California, mint condition, not a speck of rust on that body. And it had 340 something thousand miles on the engine. No, 340 something on the truck, 100 something on the engine because the guy that owned it before had to do a rebuild because he never checked the oil. Anywho, what time is it? I'm not going to stay on for long. I do want to get some other things done today. I got some plans. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everything. I think if we just appreciate everything and everyone, oh, I do want to say something else. I have been networking, so to speak, and Masha will tell you with different YouTube channels. And what I was trying to do is find channels that, not that I necessarily have something in common with. I'm doing woodworking. I've been watching a lot of metal detecting channels because those are my interests too. But uh, the type of person these people are, not so much what they do, but who they are. So I've been trying to find that kind of network of people that just are good people. They're honest, they're real. There's no fake, flashy BS. Um, and it's been a very interesting um, adventure. Looking at all these different channels, people I've never heard of before, never you go to one and you see one thing and all of a sudden you're spinning off on a lot, and all these different types of channels. Mayhem and Miracles, she's one of them, and I'm thinking, now this lady's real. I don't mind interacting with people that just they're just who they are. And there's some other channels lately that I have been watching. Um, it's a 50-50 thing. Not everybody's as real as I would like them to be or as they should like themselves to be. But live streams are tough. Not to do them, but I haven't been happy with a couple things I've been watching with people that I like their channel, I like who they are, and all of a sudden things seem to go south with the live streams. And I'm like, yikes. I always want to stay positive. I want to stay open and honest. Uh, I have no desire, like, I won't mention names or anything because no, that's not going to happen. Uh, I don't want to do that, but I just walk away. I have nothing to say. It's not good energy. That's what it's not a good energy that I want to be around. And I think if they would realize that, they would not want to be around themselves either. So it's just an interesting live streams have changed a lot, by the way. I'm hearing things, and these are people that I don't associate with. I just pop into a live stream to see what they're about. And I'm like, oh snap, see you later. The topics are like, wow. Either I'm getting old or YouTube is getting much more bold. One of the two, or a little bit of both. Excuse me a second. Oh, I was talking before I unmuted myself. I want to keep it real. I want to support channels that support me. And what I mean by that is one person can't possibly be to every live stream, watch every video, and subscribe to every channel every day. You just can't do it. I mean, it's a next to impossible. Um, so the channels that I really like and enjoy, whether they subscribe to me or not, I don't know. Um, that's not my goal. I support them because I like them. Um, if I pop in on a live stream, a lot of times it depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm there for 2 hours, but what they probably don't realize is I'm out on that scroll saw cutting a piece as well. So I'm not just on their live stream, but I'm supporting their channel while I'm still getting work done. So it's some of the channels that I've come across and that I have subscribed to and was supporting turn out to be it's all about me, not me, them. And there's one channel that blatantly flat out said, I don't watch other people's channels and I don't subscribe to them. That's not what I'm about. And I was floored. I'm like, dude, you really shouldn't say that on YouTube live. But I just lost all respect. Just a couple of statements made it very clear it's not what, because it's a channel that I don't want to say too much more because I don't want anybody to assume who I'm talking about. But it's not my thing. I have no reason to bash. That's my opinion. That's my path. And what is it I say right here? Let them. They can do what they want. Who am I to criticize? It's not my role in life to point out their faults. They are who they are. They're on the path that they're on. I'm just not, and I'm moving in a different direction. That's all that amounts to. But the bashing of each other's channels, that really, uh, to me, it's a waste of energy. It's a total waste of good, positive energy that could be used for something much more productive in life. That was what I wanted to say today. Some can be intense. Aw, Dagon, you're so sweet. I have missed seeing you here. Um, yeah, I life is good, guys. You know, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? We all have our quirks. We all have our, I don't know, whatever. Pick my nose habits. It don't matter. A lot of people, a lot of new channels, they smoke cigarettes on their lives. I don't. That's my choice. But I'm not looking at any of those people going, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. Well, no, that's their choice. Doesn't bother me. I could care less. It's just something that I choose not to do, which helps me not smoke as much, by the way. Otherwise, I'd probably smoke more than I should. Oh, fine, Dagon. Watching my stuff on TV, are ya? Getting all a big blow up view. How does it look on the TV? Does it look all right on the TV? I don't know. I don't have a television, so yeah. I think the world would be a lot happier place if we could just extend love, kindness, and compassion. Um, Even when it's difficult to do so. Yes, I always have my opinion. I'm opinionated. Um, and every once in a while, I get frustrated with what I hear that might have shown recently, but I did walk away. I had to. I had to. It's just not where my heart is. So it's visually addictive. Oh, that's funny. What, you want me to make you a 2-hour video, Dagon, so you can just like wrap yourself in a meditative state with my video? Exactly, Masha. I guess you know what? I'm a minimalist. I have no TV, no coffee maker, no microwave, not all the kitchen gadgets. Uh, there's only 2 lights on in my house at all times. Uh, everything I just don't need a lot. And that's why doing a scroll saw hobby, I really didn't want to acquire a bunch of stuff. I wanted to keep it basic, keep it minimal. That's what the show's called. Yeah, I don't have a TV. Have no desire. I can't sit in front of a TV. It's like I'm starting to get like dancing in my pants here, sitting here for as long as I am. Scroll saw the Sistine Chapel ceiling, please. Oh shoot. Yeah. When I tell like my neighbors when we talk that my electric bill is literally less than $50 a month, they are floored. They have no idea. They must think I'm living in a cave. And they have no idea how much electricity they use with all the creature comforts that they own. And, well, I only use the microwave once a day. I'm like, oh, I don't have one. You don't? You don't have a microwave? No, I just don't. Um, and it was the best decision I made. Before I got rid of the microwave, I would heat up my coffee in the coffee cup because it would get cold. and it would take like a minute, minute and a half. So I said, okay, put that same coffee into a small pan and put it on the stove, heat it up in a minute, minute and a half. And so my gas stove used a lot less than that microwave did in electricity to heat that coffee. It's not as quick as people think it is. It's over 80 here and I live in darkness. Well, it's not over 80 here. You and you and Blake should get together with your 80. He's in Georgia. I could not live down there. In the winter I could. In the summer, not a chance. But yeah, I just don't want stuff anymore. I make cowboy coffee on the stove. And, the simplicity of how I live goes a lot further than that I'm not willing to publicly discuss because it horrifies people. They can't imagine certain things that I do. They can't imagine doing that. And I'm talking doing things the way it was done 100 years ago. When we lost power here for 8 or 9 hours, I do have a small generator and I have a gas stove. So the small generator wasn't really necessary, but it was quite cold. And I don't have electric heaters. I have Mr. Buddy heaters. Up until 2022, I was living off grid all summer long. So I have the things I need to live off grid uh, if I need them. So my neighbors were like, I know she had a light on over there. I'm laughing because I have camping lights, but I also have that small generator. And what I used that for was just to keep a light on in the house, not during the day because it was light during the day, which is when the electricity was out, most of it. And I was able to cook on the stove. Well, you can't use a stove. Now, a gas stove has electronic ignition. This is the wall limits that people put up. Do you have matches? Yeah. You light a match and turn on your stove that way. You become the electronic ignition for the gas stove. Yeah, the same square footage as our hydro is. Right. When I'm gone in the summer, it's below $20 here too. Um, I haven't been out there in 2 years to be off grid. I do a lot of the same off grid stuff here, which keeps everything low. Where are you, Dagon? I mean, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but I know you've probably told me before. Uh, my doggies hear me talking, so they're not bothering me. It's their dinner time. So yeah, I'm very happy with the simple things. Um, would I like it if the power went out for a long time? Probably not. But I would adapt and overcome. That's for sure. Oh, okay. So yeah, you're in the northern part of the U.S. and it's 80 degrees there. It's over 80 here. Huh. I wish. No, I don't. My ideal temperature is between 60 and 70. That's my ideal outside temperature. Um, I don't like humidity. Yeah, I'm tired today. Woke up at 4 a.m. Yay me. That's what happens when I fall asleep too early. Well, folks, I am going to what time is it? I don't even know. Yeah, time enough. I'd like to thank y'all very much for coming in. Oh, $80 a month. Okay. I guess I forgot what I was talking about when I saw that. Oh, you're in Ontario. So, me being in the Buffalo area, how close is that to you? Thank you, Dagon. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you for coming in and making my first live stream in a very long time. Uh, aw, PSC, hi. I didn't know you were here. I wish I knew you were here. I would have said hello to you earlier. Did you pop in and I didn't see it? I apologize if you did. But thank you for making this live stream enjoyable for me. And I'd like to do more. And I'll consider doing an actual scroll sub live stream. This will be fun. But oh, you just got here. Okay. Yeah, I'm an hour into it now and I'm kind of done because I'm tired. I was up way too early this morning and I got to feed the dogs and, finish on with life, I guess. I will, Dagon. I will. Thank you all. Appreciate you very much. And I hope to see you again. God bless. Oh, I gotta end it.